Hello Cancer. It is my honest intention to share with you today the reading that's gonna give you the map of the energies for July. And I already did this recording where there was a technical issue, so I had to do it again. But basically, I'm very well aware that I've been leaving you guys abandoned for a while, and it hasn't been my intention, but then again, I had to prioritize. So now that I'm coming back to you guys, and not only do I want to offer you the information regarding July, but I also want to give you like a bird's eye view of what happened during June. You can't really change the past, but it is a very good thing to understand it so we can know where we're coming from, thus getting like a clearer picture of the grand scheme of things, so to speak. So sit back and relax, and I hope this content really helps you in making the very best decisions for yourself during the month of July. Let's dive right in and see what happens. We start a session today so that only the truth comes up and nothing but the truth with a touch of love. Right. Thank you for giving me clear, direct, precise and concise answers so that Cancer can know everything they can know, thus allowing them to make better choices in the future, because it is my honest intention to help you guys out. And if I have the chance to do so, then why not? Right, so let's see. I'm gonna draw 3 cards, and that's gonna be the summary of the month of June for you, so we can begin understanding what's going on. So during June, we have first the 7 of Pentacles reversed and the Hangman reversed, which means that June was a month where you kept working, you kept working, you kept working, and it didn't work. Your effort didn't pay off. Like, for some reason you couldn't keep up with the things you were doing. And then we have the Hangman, which means that you were wondering why this was happening to me, why is this failing? And the reason why it was failing is because that wasn't meant for you. And I think you know this. But if not, I'm trying to give you the information right now. The Hangman reverse speaks of a person that is acting like a victim. I don't know why this is happening to me. But the thing is, the reason why this person is stuck is because of 2 things, possibly. First, you're trying to make something work that shouldn't work, not anymore. Or you're not really doing anything different. You're trying the same thing over and over again. And of course, you know, the definition of madness. The definition of madness is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Which is what I can see happening here. You were really trying. Or maybe you dropped something. Whatever happened, clearly it wasn't working. So that's the first part about June. And then we go into the 5 of Swords, which is a logical step following this situation, which is you saying, well, like mental confusion, mental conflict. You're trying to figure out what's going on and not being able to, and you're really trying to understand, but it's not going to lead you anywhere, because even if you understand, I don't think you're willing to accept. So your mental confusion is not only born out of confusion, like literal confusion, but it is also born because you're being stubborn. And I don't mean to offend, please, like, that's not my intention. My intention is for you to realize, if this resonates with you, that you've been wasting your effort on something that is not meant for you. And you've been really trying to make it work, and you've been asking questions about how can I go about this, how could I make it work, what can I do, why is this happening, basically. And well, the third card is the 2 of Wands. You have to try something new. Basically, the effort you were making during June was devoted to something that wasn't gonna work anyway. So it was a month where you had to realize that sometimes if things are failing, it means that we shouldn't be doing that in the first place. That's not our duty. And I think that's what happened to you during June. Like, you were really focused on something, and that something wasn't really working, which led you to a mental confusion of sorts. And you were really wanting to understand that, but then again, there's nothing to be understood about the situation. If anything, what you need to understand is that you must try to go in a different direction, because that thing is never gonna work. So, what can I tell you? What are the next 3 cards I can deal I can draw, that further explains this process that you lived during June, which is it was a very frustrating process, I can tell, but the good thing about the process is that with the Two of Wands there, the frustration was enough to get you not thinking, but to get you like dreaming, to get you feeling the future you would like to live, the direction of your life you would like to go to, basically. I don't think you would have changed directions if it hasn't been because this failed. If this worked, you would have been stuck with it, which means you would have never gone to the place where you could have realized that there was something else for you. If only you were willing to take it. So, to further explain this, we have Death and the Wheel of Fortune. Again, this is the same message as before. This is, if this didn't work, it means that you must let it die. It cannot come back, but you are resisting that. You know, I just want to tell you right now, Cancer, it doesn't matter how many times you try to make it work, it won't. Not with this combination of cards, it won't. It certainly won't. Because that means wasted effort. That means you trying the same wasted effort over and over again and getting the same result. Wasted effort. Then we go into further details with the Death and the Wheel of Fortune reversed, and this means that this situation has to die. It has to end. It has to change. You shouldn't go back to that kind of situation because you're gonna feel stuck and it's gonna be a wasted effort. So the more you ignore this, the more you really try to make it work, the worse it's gonna be, basically. Like, you will reach a certain point where there will be no more hope. And it is a good thing. Maybe you love this. I don't think you love the situation, actually. I think you were trying to make this work out of despair because you have another problem, and this was like a way for you to keep going. But you cannot fix a problem with another problem, which is why you need to leave this, because you need to go to the root. Let's go with further explanation. Yes, the Page of Pentacles reversed. This means that you didn't like the job anyway. You didn't like what you were doing, you didn't like the direction your life was taken. So it is a good thing this failed, because had it been successful, you would have been stuck with a situation that was comfortable, it was safe, but it wasn't good. It didn't represent your true happiness, which is why it has to fail. Because it is an illusion. It is... Let me correct that. I don't think it was an illusion, because there is no card about illusions here. But I think it's fulfilled its role. I think the time's up for this kind of activity. So it must cease, and through the death of this activity, you have the space to contemplate what could you do next that really fulfills you. So clearly, when you have these two cards, well, this whole set of cards, it means that you're really trying to make something work that shouldn't. Why it shouldn't? Because it doesn't belong to you. What do I mean when I say it doesn't belong to you? I mean that the particular job or duty or role you were fulfilling, yes, it is possible to be fulfilled, but you were not committed to it. Your heart is not in it. Your nature, your core self, doesn't really want this for you anymore, which is why it is failing. Because when one door closes, another one is wide open. Which is exactly what I said, you know? Like, when one door closes, when this way of living stops, it could be very frustrating because you were trying your damnness to make it work and it didn't, but it is the best news you could get if what you are looking for is to really find your own purpose, your own path, your own way of doing things that is gonna make everything perfectly okay and aligned and just make sense to you, to your own path. This kind of revelation wouldn't have happened if this had worked, which is why it is failing. It is failing so you can reach the space where you can say, I need to do something different, something needs to change. Something needs to change because this will not work anymore. So it is a pretty clear message, and if you ask me what I'm seeing, is that I'm gonna draw 3 cards, but that one fell down. What I'm saying is that I really need to draw these 3 cards for some reason. Alright, there they are. And I'm gonna draw one more then. What I'm seeing from this reading is that you were really trying to commit yourself to fulfill a role, but that role was failing and your efforts were being wasted and you didn't see any kind of results, which naturally is gonna lead you into a mental conflict of sorts because you're just trying to figure out what's going on. But again, I want to tell you that you're not really trying to figure it out, it's like you're trying to resist the change because you were used to doing things this way, but this way, you gotta admit, doesn't resonate with your soul. So then we have the Two of Wands, the Lovers, and the Knight of Wands there, which means that that thing you're thinking about, that's exactly what you should do. And if you don't have any idea, like when you hear me say this, your thought was, I don't even know what I want. Like, I don't even have an idea of anything, like at all. Well, look, you have this 3 combination of cards, Two of Wands, the Lovers, and the Knight of Wands, which means that, yes, the first meaning is, whatever it is that you're thinking, that's where you should go to, because that's where your soul and your love is. But if you don't know where you want to be, use this period of contemplation, use this frustration to get to your real self, your real core. What would really make you happy, what it is that you really want to do and you've been wanting to do for a long time, but you haven't mustered the will to go through it. Picture that, imagine that, because then it is your turn to act. You have to act. The Knight of Wands is someone who will never stop, no matter what. And that's who you want to be, because you have a lot of fire energy. Granted, this is June, which means that planets were in Gemini, but when we are going to July, you're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars, all of them in conjunction in your own sign, that gives you a lot of resolve, a lot of determination to go chase the dream you've been wanting to chase. So the first thing you must know, regardless of this, because this is information about the problem, this is the solution, and I want to focus on the solution, you must change direction. Where to? Where your heart is. Whatever your heart is, that's where you have to go. Don't try to force yourself to fulfill a duty that you don't like. If you don't enjoy it, it is not gonna work. And that's kind of logical, that's kind of obvious, because, you know, creativity and inspiration comes from joyfulness. And joyfulness comes from love. And if you don't love your job, then why are you trying to make it work? It will not. You are not inspired. You're just going through the motions. Oh, I had to do this because if I don't do it, something bad is gonna happen. That's not the right energy to go through your own personal evolution. You want to fall in love with yourself. You want to fall in love with the things you're doing. You don't want to just fulfill a role. You want to be yourself. At least that's what I believe you want. If you are looking forward to work your ass off every single day without any kind of love, then I guess the old way really fits you. But I don't want that for you. I want complete happiness. And if we're talking about complete happiness, you know better than I do what it is that you want to do. It's just that I had to tell you, right? I can't really tell you what exactly do you have to do because this is a general reading and you have to use your own intuition. But what I can tell you is that it is very important for you to get away from any kind of social construct, to get away from any kind of duty or role or, I don't know, responsibility that you do not agree with, and instead try to contemplate the real path that would open your heart. That is the best way to go. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which means that this job, this particular thing, will never work. It will never work. The sooner you accept that, the better. It is a good thing, Cancer. It is a good thing that it didn't work because it wasn't making you happy anyway. It was making you, to be honest, quite miserable if I'm taking a look at this correctly. So what are the last 3 things we can say? The Devil, Two of Cups, and King of Pentacles reversed. So basically, the reason why you were doing what you were doing, it was a bond, it was a limitation, it was a contract that you didn't agree with. Well, I mean, let me correct that. You agreed with, but you agreed to this out of despair, out of lack of opportunities, because it was the only thing to do. So it was a bond. It is a limitation because this is an illusion. There we go. This is the card of illusions, of lies, of deceits. So yes, this kind of effort is an illusion. You are acting, trying to fulfill a role that you think is going to help you out, and it won't. And one of the reasons why you're doing that is because you're trying to make other people happy, you know? You're trying to think about the others, and I have to do this because the other ones are counting on me. Can I be honest? Like, I really like to swear, but I like to swear because of the energy that it gives you. Fuck them, you know, like, fuck the rest. Don't live your life based on other people's expectations. You don't have to do that. No, that doesn't mean that you have to literally go to everyone and say, you know what, fuck you, I don't want to do what you're telling me. I'm not saying that. You don't have to be aggressive, although you will feel the energy to do so, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if there's someone trying to manipulate you, or basically coerce you, or abuse you, or convince you that you should do something to help them out, don't do it. Unless your heart is there, then do it, but I don't think it is. I think you're doing this out of despair, out of desperation, out of there's nothing else I can do, which is this. This is the only way to go about it, which is why you're committed to this. It doesn't work. And then you have the King of Pentacles reverse, which means that perhaps the reason why you were doing what you were doing is because you wanted to help someone who was feeling very weakened or vulnerable or basically unable to provide for himself. So you were really helping someone out in their darkest hour, and that's very honorable. But while I draw the cards for the second reading, let me try to enlighten you to some real meaning about helping people out. So you see, when you're going on an airplane and they start explaining to you the rules of the airplane, like you have to do this, you have to do that, these are the exits, whatever. There's a part where they say, in case of an emergency, please use your mask, your oxygen mask. And then they say, if you have children with you, if you have children with you, or a child, or whatever, do not help them first. Help yourself. Don't try to put their masks on, put your own mask first. I'm gonna give you some time so you can think about why they say that, because that's very important. That's the reason why you should take a look at this, you know. I'm gonna give you a while to think while I draw the cards for July. Why is it that these people think it is a better idea to help yourself put your own mask instead of doing like the most logical thing, which would be help your child? Like, obviously these guys should know that children are not as aware as adults, which means that it would be a good idea to help them out first and then help yourself out so you can secure their safety first, right? Yes, that's very noble. It is exactly what you were doing. Very noble thing, but it doesn't work. Because if the emergency is really dire, at the time you're trying to put the mask on your children, you will faint. You will not be able to breathe. You will start like feeling very down, very sad, but I don't know, very dizzy, and then you will faint, and then none of you will have the masks. On the other hand, if you put your own mask on, your child could faint. That's true. We're talking about an hypothetical situation here. But then, because you're okay, because you're already feeling good, you can help them out without any problems. And then they can breathe again and everything's gonna be fine. Because you were fine first. Truly, really fine. What you were trying to do is help someone out before helping yourself. So you were feeling like crap. And in the middle of that feeling, you were trying to help someone else. It doesn't work that way. You will not have the energy. True help comes when you help yourself. You can try to help someone else, or you can try to help many people at once. That's not gonna work, because you will have to make every effort to help every single problem of everyone, and that's gonna exhaust you. But if you help yourself, then your cup runneth over. That's from the Bible. And it means that you will feel so good about yourself that that feeling will be contagious to others, which is exactly what you want. Help everyone by helping yourself. And that's what June was all about. So we go into the Pillars of Mercy about July. And this reading answers 3 simple and key questions, which is your background information, the energies that you will go through, and my 3 advices on what you could do to make things different or to get the most out of July. Regarding your background information, the invisible energies that will influence this kind of situation this month, 6 of Pentacles means that you were working on a project, or basically your job was very well balanced. Like, you were given stuff and they were giving you stuff back, and it was a very balancing act, balanced situation. This is great. This means harmony. This means, if I had to apply to the things that happened in June, this means that you actually had a job or a role that was fulfilling at one point, because it was giving you what you were given. So then we have the 6 of Wands reversed. And you have to face 2-6, harmony, harmony. Yes, the job was okay, it was giving you money and you were giving your effort, that's good, but it wasn't making you feel great. This job wasn't really highlighting you. This job was diminishing you and your own self-confidence. So even though you were doing what you were supposed to do from an earthly dimension, from an earthly perspective, you were working and you were getting money, your heart was not in it. You did not feel like a champion doing that. You did not feel like the hero of your own story. If anything, you felt defeated. And then we go the 5 of Swords reversed, which is the card you had before. So before, it meant that you were trying to understand what was going on, but at the same time thinking too much wasn't going to help, and it frustrated you even more because you couldn't understand. Not because the answer wasn't there, but because you were not willing to accept it. But now I feel during July this is gonna turn around, because the more you try to pull this off, the more bitterer, I don't know, the worse it's gonna feel, the more unbearable the situation is gonna be, and you are realizing that. And basically the situation is so unbearable that no matter how stubborn you are, no matter how determined, there will be a moment in time where it's gonna be the boiling point, and you will say, that's enough. Yes, I'm afraid of leaving this place, I'm afraid of leaving this role, I kind of liked it, I think it was worth it, but I cannot deny. I cannot deny the truth of the situation, that this is unsustainable, thus I had to do something different. Which is great. This talks about a process of you realizing that even though the job is kind of good, it is kind of fair, it is not for you. So what are the energies you will go through during this month? 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands reverse, and the Ace of Pentacles reverse. This means that at the start of the month, you are still gonna try to make this work. Like, you're really, I can see that you really have your eyes on this, you really want to make it work, and you're trying your best. And I really applaud that from you, Cancer. I really value that you are committed enough to sacrifice yourself to help other people. That is always gonna be great. But the problem with this is that you become a martyr, and I don't think you want to die. I don't think you want to live your life in sacrifice where there is another alternative. So yes, you can live your life sacrificing yourself for others, and it would feel kind of good because you are doing it for the greater good, but that doesn't take away the misery you are in, or the frustration. Then you can tell me, well, you know, it is the only way to help my family, it is the only way to help them out, there is no other way, if I don't do this, they are doomed. That's a lie. Yes, the mind will worry about possible ways to provide, and if you quit or if you leave, your mind is gonna freak out, because it's gonna be like, what the hell are you doing? How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna provide the food? How are you gonna pay for the bills? How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna do that? Blah, 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 whatever, you know? But that's fear speaking. if you trust in what I said before, which is exactly what you have to learn, which is that the best way to help other people is to help yourself, you wouldn't take too long before finding another alternative which would make everyone else happy, including, and of course, yourself. But you see, that path, the path of you finding a great job that can pay for the bills and make you feel like a champion without frustrating you, that path is completely possible. It is completely possible, but you will never find it if you keep thinking like a martyr when you shouldn't. You should think about yourself. You should be a little bit more selfish, and you will during July. So we had the Two of Pentacles, which means that you are truly trying to make this work, but then it's gonna be too much for you and you will drop it, and that opportunity, that job is gonna be wasted. And it's a good thing. I don't mean wasted in the sense that, oh, you didn't take the chance, so you wasted it. No, I'm not talking like that. I'm saying that this opportunity will vanish, and it's a good thing, because this opportunity is not good for you. It could be good for someone else. Like, say you're working as a salesman and you don't like selling. What the hell are you doing, man? Why are you forcing yourself to sell if you don't like selling? Because if I don't do it, my family will suffer. No, it will not. But you gotta trust. So it is a very good thing what I'm seeing here, because what I'm seeing here, the Ten of Wands reversed and the Ace of Pentacles, is you basically saying, I can't do this anymore, I have to drop it. I'm sorry, but I can't. And that's exactly what you have to do. That would benefit you so much, because it would give you the space you're looking for, so you can start thinking about other possibilities. So, what are the 3 advices I can give you regarding this month of July for you, Cancer? The Magician, of course, and the Knight of Pentacles. Look, let me draw the 3 cards, because these are very powerful cards. The Knight of Swords, of course, and the Ace of Wands. Yes. Right, look. The Magician and the Knight of Pentacles, the most important card of the whole reading is this one, which is exactly what is gonna make you free and is what the process is pushing you to do, which is dream big, Cancer. Don't commit yourself to a jail. Don't try to do things you don't like. Don't do that. If you truly understood the meaning of spirituality and trust and faith and loving yourself, you wouldn't work at a shitty job for a single day. It doesn't matter if you don't have food to eat. It doesn't matter. Literally, because you know what? If you're moving from a despair point of view, then everything will be scarce. I think that, yes, in the Bible, there is a passage, I don't remember literally, but there is a passage that says, I'm paraphrasing here, you can look it up. To those who think life is abundant, they will receive plenty of everything. To those that feel fear and scarcity, even the few things they have will be taken away. So say you're living a life of feeling poor, you know, you're gonna be poor forever. Because abundance is not how much money you have or how much food you have, it's how well you feel inside. And in order for you to feel well, you have to do something you like. If you are pushing yourself and forcing yourself and basically putting pressure on you to do something you don't like, everything is gonna be scarce because you're going against yourself. And this is a sign of life telling you, dude, stop doing that. Life is for love. Life is for enjoyment. Life is for enjoying the beauty and the abundance of it. You will have food. Shelter and food will never be missing if you trust in everything. If you don't trust, you will be condemned to live a life of having to fulfill things, because if you don't, then you are doomed. I take the time to say this because you have the Magician, which is the greatest lesson you have to learn. What it is that you want to create. I'm asking you seriously, like, forget the reading. I'm asking you right now, what it is that you want to create. What is it that you truly want to do? The first answer you're gonna give me is, I only want a family, I only want a pet, a job, a 9-to-5 job, a regular salary, something I can like. You're missing the point, you know? The magician is not gonna give such a tame answer as whatever I can get. That's enough. That's living in scarcity. The magician is gonna say, you know what, dude? I want the whole world. And a little bit more. That's not ambition. Because when the magician is saying, I want the whole world, it doesn't literally mean controlling the world. Although it could, but I'm not talking like that. When the magician says, I want the whole world, this guy wants his own world. He wants his visions. He wants his dreams. He wants to manifest whatever it is that he wants to manifest at any point in time, no limitations. So, say you want to be an astronaut. Like, say your heart really wants to go to outer space. With this car, you can. You can. You literally can. If you're dreaming about going to outer space and exploring other planets and whatever, you can. You can. There's no limitations except the ones you craft in your own head. Which is why the magician, one of the most important things is that on his forehead, he has this white little thing here. That means his mind is clear. There are no fears. There are no limitations. There's no conditioning. This guy knows exactly what he wants and he's willing to go through great lengths to get it. Because he knows that time is necessary and effort is necessary to manifest anything. As long as you work and you take the time to do things, whatever it is that you want will happen. So, if you're stuck in a situation where you're poor, if I were you and I got this card, I would immediately drop the job or the role or whatever, and after dropping that I would start saying what it is that I really want. What is it that I really want to do in this life? What is it that would really make my soul, like, after doing that I can die peacefully. There's nothing else I need. That was my greatest work. Could be being an astronaut. But if you're not unlimited in your thinking, even if you want to be an astronaut, when I ask you what is it that you want to be, you're going to say, oh, I just want a family. I just want a nice life, man. I don't want to suffer anymore. I just want my 9-to-5 job. Or money, or whatever it is you're looking for. I'm not asking from despair. I'm asking you to go beyond despair and your own limitations, and I'm asking your heart, not your mind, your heart, mate. What is it that would make you happy? Because after you see that, you can make it happen if you work towards it. But see, this work is not gonna feel frustrating. It's not gonna be annoying. It's not gonna be unrewarding. Why not? Because you're working towards your own manifestation, not someone else. Those are very key cards. I hope I explained them better, like the best way to you, because you don't know how important it is for you to realize that you are unlimited. If you're living a life of limitations, those limitations are born within, not without. It's not that the world sucks. It's not that destiny hates you. It's that life is putting you through the right pressure for you to learn how to swim and be free and then fly and go wherever you want. Life doesn't like to see you diminished because you're a God. And God is not meant to be limited. God is meant to create whatever He wants to create. That's the point of whole life, you know? One among many. So please do take this advice. This is the first advice I'm giving you. Like, really go for your dreams. Picture what you want and go after that. Because the moment you do it, you will stop suffering. How will you stop suffering? By letting go of this shitty job you're stuck in, or whatever situation it is. And just let it go. Like, stop worrying about it. Stop fretting about it. Stop saying, like, how am I gonna get the money? How am I gonna get the money? How am I gonna pay for this? How am I gonna do this? That's fear. Yes, there is a part of worry, which is very practical, which is, no, dude, I just want to know how I'm gonna do this so I can breathe easily. That's valid. But there is a very thin line separating worry from fear. And you, my friend, I feel you are in fear. And that's okay. Maybe your life is really getting stressing. Like, I don't deny it. Certainly, you'll face situations that are very frustrating and worrisome. I can give you that. But I'm telling you the real solution. The real solution is not stressing more, it is imagining more, it is dreaming more, it is being more ambitious in a good way, not in a greedy way, but in a loving way. I want this dream, not because I want to be the king of the world, because I want to be the king of my world. I want to feel like a champion to myself. I want to be the main character in my own story. Go do that and stop suffering. You only have to let go. And then we have the Ace of Wands reversed, which means that after you picture your dream and started working towards it, and after you've reached that place where you're no longer worried about your job, your previous job, or money situations or whatever, then you reach this card, which means that don't try to force it. That's despair as well. Like, I have to make it happen. I have to make it happen. It will not happen. Things happen out of love, not being forceful. If you're forcing yourself, it will never happen. But if you're saying, hey, I'm okay right now. I'm okay where I am. It may not be the best situation, but I don't need this to be the best situation. I only have to be myself and true to myself. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I just have to be okay here. So this is a card telling you that you don't really have to act to make this happen. You just have to commit to a certain way of thinking. What way of thinking? That you can get whatever the hell you want. There are no limits. This is the mindset of the millionaires. This is the mindset of the people who are successful. This is the mindset of the magician. The magician has no limits. The magician wants to buy 90 Rolls Royce, and people are going to be saying, how the hell are you going to pay for that? And this guy is, I don't know, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen because I will be working towards that. And during the process, you will naturally come to your own ideas, and the process will unfold naturally, spontaneously, effortlessly, as long as you are committed to your dreams and the things you want to create. That's all. So yeah, I put the cards back, but let me draw 3 cards before going to the next reading, which is a very short one, but a very important one. But what I can tell from this reading so far is that you must see the importance of you releasing yourself from any kind of shackles society has put upon yourself. And when I say society, I'm not talking only about the government or school or whatever. I'm talking also about your family, because your family also influences the way you think. Don't go after the perceptions of your family or society or your friends or whatever. Go after your own emotions. Go after your own dreams. That's the best way to go about life, because it is sustainable. It will never fail. It will never fail because you're not dependent on other things. You are following your own heart. I don't know what else can give you the strength to pull through anything but your own heart and your own love. So the 3 cards I can deal with you. Look at this. You have this Ace of Pentacles reversed again. These are the 3 cards I draw you before we go into the next reading. Ace of Pentacles reversed, King of Swords reversed, 10 of Swords reversed. This is quite clear. It means drop this job. It's not good for you. It will never work. It will never work the way you want it. This was not for you. If it is not a job, if you're jobless, so to speak, if you are like, if what I'm saying regarding a job does not apply to you, it will apply to something that's really earthly, like a process or a duty or a role, or maybe a project that you're trying to make it work. You may be trying to make it work, but it's not fair to you because it is being forceful. So, and you know this, like, you know this, but you don't want to admit it because admitting it will be too painful, because maybe maybe you've invested so much in this effort that leaving it right now seems like a waste. It is not a waste, my friend. You're getting your life back. It is an investment. You have to change your perspective. You have to change your perspective. And it is a beautiful shift, because the shift is pulling you from living in scarcity to living in abundance, from living in despair, surviving, not living, from surviving in despair, I don't know what to do, I had to do this, to living life with enjoyment, because you know everything is gonna work out in the end, as long as you are there. That's a really nice shift. Although I must say it could be very painful if you're really trying to make this old paradigm work. These are the keys to your own liberation. These are optional because they're very tough, but if you're willing to follow these 3 keys, I can guarantee you're gonna be one step closer to enlightenment. That's a very ambitious thing to say, but I have full confidence in wisdom. I have full confidence in life. This is being the magician. I'm promising you something so great, like these are gonna be the keys to enlightenment. That sounds very ambitious, my friend. Are you sure you can pull that off? I'm not sure. I don't trust this. I know this. I know. How do you know this? Because I just know. Because I decided to think that way. And my intention is born out of a very sincere, humble, honest intention, which is, I just want to help you out. I just want to share information that will release you. So, yes, it is trust, but that trust can only be born out of the right paradigm, out of the right perspective, that life is beautiful, and that this is going to happen because it is for your own liberation. And you deserve your liberation, you deserve your freedom. You don't have to do anything to be free. In fact, you have to do less. You have to be more willing to change your mind about certain things. So this is the first card, Strife. Let's go back to the 3 keys of enlightenment. Then we go to... Thank you for giving me the truth, only the truth and nothing but the truth, because it is my honest intention to free Cancer from whatever problems they're facing. And if I have the chance to do so, then why not? Right. We go with the second one and then the third one. But basically, the first card is Strife, which means that you have to be okay with that mental confusion, because that mental confusion, which may be killing you, which may be worrying you to death, is the very same conflict that will mark the beginning of you chasing your dreams. Conflict is not bad. Difficult odds are not to be avoided. Pressure, strife, conflict, stress are only signs of change, of a necessary change, of an impending change if you're willing to go through it, or of an inevitable change if you're trying to resist it. So don't resist it, embrace it. Embrace the strife you're currently undergoing, because that strife are the birth pains of your new self. Then we have the second card, which is the Seven of Swords reverse, futility. Recognize the intentions you have that will never work. Recognize the mental patterns that are pulling you in a direction that is not going to work. Recognize your own thoughts that are making you run through a path that you know ends with a brick wall in the end. So you're going to crash. Don't do that to yourself. You have the chance now to use this strife in your favor by allowing yourself to think in a different way. If you don't think in a different way, then you are bound to fail, because I'm not saying this in an offensive way, I'm saying this in a very profound way. If you do not adapt, this is true for everything in nature. If anything in nature doesn't adapt to the circumstances, if anything in nature is not flexible, it will die. Because time changes. And as time changes, evolution happens. And evolution is the natural process that makes us shift directions so we can find that way of living which is want to make the most out of this time we spend here. So don't be so stubborn, Cancer. Don't be so fixed on your own intentions, and do try to be more flexible. If strife happens, take the path of least resistance. You don't have to force yourself. And last but not least, we have 3 of Cups and 9 of Cups. What a beautiful card combination. Abundance and happiness. Look, I was just telling you that life is abundant. And I was just telling you that it is very important for you to develop this emotional state where you realize that life is abundant. I can take a single apple. I can get all the seeds. I can plant them, and then I can get like 10 more trees full of apples. And each one of those apples are gonna have 10 more seeds. So I can have 100, and then 1,000, and then before you know it, you can have a whole forest of apples. From one apple, from one single entity. You apply that entity in the right way with the right perspective, and then you can end up with a whole forest of abundance and happiness. That abundance, that happiness is an emotional realization. It is not an intellectual realization. Sure, the mind does play a part in you coming up with these ideas and these realizations about yourself. That's perfectly fine. But your goal doesn't have to agree here. Your goal has to be you feeling good here. Trusting life. Trusting life. That it will bring you whatever you need at the best moment in time if only you're committed to yourself, and that life will make you happy and will fulfill any wish for you as long as you're acting in a truthful, loving way with yourself. And when I take a look at these cards, what I had to ask you is, have you been loving to yourself? Have you been fair to yourself? Have you been good to yourself? Are you trying to follow the path that is gonna make you feel fulfilled for real? Or are you forcing yourself to go down somewhere that you don't actually enjoy, but you're doing it for the sake of others or for the sake of stability? The second one will always lead you to being even more poor. Because the second one, forcing yourself to do something out of fear, is going from scarcity. I'm lacking this, I have to do something to provide this. Because if I don't do it, nothing will ever happen. Trust. Abundance means I will try this, and if it fails, I will try something else, because life is abundant and there are chances everywhere. And I trust that as long as I'm happy and as long as I'm honoring myself and loving myself and being true to myself, life will present me with the right tools and opportunities and circumstances at the best moments in time. The only thing I have to do is trust and be happy and enjoy my life. That's a very deep reading. I really hope you have the strength. You will. I really hope you have the strength to not only realize this, but to apply it. Apply it in a way that's sensible and honorable to you. If you have to leave something, if you have to stop doing something because it is unbearable, because it is making you sick or worried, leave it. And then leave the problem in the hands of God. And if you don't believe in God, then leave that in the hands of yourself. But that's a little bit more tricky, because it means you have to trust yourself. And the only way for you to trust yourself is you by loving yourself first. So the question is, do you love yourself? Do you really love yourself? Do you really love yourself deeply? Because if you did, you wouldn't be forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and for trusting my words, because it is my honest intention to help you out in whatever path you're going through right now. And I wish you the very best. If you want a personal reading, you can always contact me through the mail, which is right on the description box below. And I wish you the very best, Cancer. I really do. Take good care, my friends. Cheers.